about how people should live. They intensify that so that they prevent cohabiting. Now, for those who are already in cohabitation, they should mobilize. They should go around and mobilize these people in their church and get them up and entice them to get to wedding. For instance, one time when I was a minister, together with the pastor Chaze, he called me. We mobilized people in the church, in his church, and we ended up wedding 50 people. And they got wedded. And they got wedded. Now. So as they mobilize them to wed, the government must provide protection. You know what? Why I like this woman with Jesus? When they brought this woman who had been committing adultery, and they said we should stone. Jesus said, whoever has never done it, be the first one to throw the stone. And by the way, the religious leaders also disappeared. But what happened? Jesus said,
you are not accusing these ones of disappearing.
Jesus protected the woman, and after protecting her, she said, but don't sin again. This was a sin, don't sin again. That's how religious leaders should behave in relation with people who are cohabiting.
Viewers, I'm taking another break. When I return from the break, Betty, someone here says that Peter and the people in the studio, you're wasting people's time. This law, whether it exists or not, is going to be a law for the elite in Kampala. Tell me about the women in the countryside that are actually going to file in this patriarchal society against such a circumstance.
Which ones? Which ones?
We take a break.
That for instance, stop making a good law.
There's a new workhorse in town. The new Dutch-Far Agrolax tractor from Dutch-Far, Germany is now available at Spear Motors Limited. This tractor, with user-friendliness as standard, comes in 2x4 and 4x4 wheel drive with a 3-cylinder diesel engine characterized by outstanding performance and low fuel consumption. It also offers advantages of a versatile and maneuverable tractor for yard, burn, and light field work with its fully fledged equipment and high-performance hydraulic system for small, medium, and large-scale farming. Its unimpeded view of all working areas, even under difficult working conditions, guarantees unprecedented safety. It's the ultimate workhorse that offers value for money. So pay us a visit today. Spear Motors Limited, Plot M428 Nakawa Ginger Road for your Dutch-Far tractor experience.
Okello Okello is a former legislator, witnessed the bill being tabled several times during his time in the August House and says this time it could be passed since there is no much pressure from religious leaders.
The church now is a bit reluctant, and they are also saying that they need participation. They are not saying no to the bill. I think it will cause more separation than we have had so far.
And we want to request more time of consultation is given, because since it affects the fabric of society, marriage, it has to be handled with great care.
That is the humble call that the Church of Uganda and the Interreligious Council made to the Ugandan legislators, as the marriage and divorce bill turns out to divide legislators themselves, in addition to being opposed by a section of Ugandans. To the Archbishop, the matter is so critical in society that it may turn out to be dangerous to certain groups by virtue of their religious affiliations, though on paper some might not think of the long-term implications.
We are looking for a law that will take care of all Ugandans in unison, not having a divided law, because we are Ugandans and we need to have law that will embrace marriage together so that it keeps us together.
Their concern came just hours after the Speaker of Parliament said the religious leaders were pretending, since they wed couples that have been cohabiting for some time.
You people of the church, the bishops have written. Now they are saying, why are you leaving out the Muslims? Excuse me, really? Really? The Muslims opted out. That the church has been consulted. Time and time and time. Very building, they have been consulted. So it's really not fair for them to pretend that they don't know what.
Yes. Welcome back, viewers. It is Issues at Hand. Betty, you've had the Speaker of Parliament, you've had Bishop Ntagali, and the gentleman that sent that message that says, wait a minute, are we actually legislating for everyone, or are we making good law for no one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very sympathetic as a woman living with the women who are suffering and knowing how they suffer. We are all very, very sympathetic to their plight. But I also caution or advise caution, because if the religious leaders say caution, the Christians, who are the majority, the Muslims say caution, many sections of society say caution. So this law is meant for who? I mean, we must be clear. If the religious leaders, whom we think have a big, large following, 98%.
Have they asked their people? Have they asked the women as to whether they want to share property or not? Even the rural women.
No, Miriam. We are not talking about sharing of property.
What is the problem?
I mean, we need to talk about, there are many aspects of the law.
Controversial issues.
We talk about the sharing. The sharing is at the end, when the relationship has broken down. But we are preparing Miriam, please listen. I really give you respect when you are talking, and I request you to do that with me. Why are we talking about the end, when the relationship has broken down, instead of beginning to build a relationship, to establish a foundation for a good relationship? That's what I'm talking about. And I'm saying, like Peter said, why don't we begin by making marriage easily accessible? So instead of making it, for instance, legislate against bride price. If bride price is a problem that young people encounter that stops them from getting married, then we should deal with the issues that make it difficult for marriage to take place. But if marriage does not take place because one of the couples is not sure, then we must, and listen, girls are the big victims of this relationship, the girls. So they must be trained and cautioned to be more careful. It's like you are going, for instance, if there was a dangerous place to pass, and I'm physically handicapped, I must know my problem and know how to handle it. I can't go, for instance, in a demonstration with when I have a problem. So girls being the big victims, the biggest victim of this relationship, should be cautioned not to enter into a relationship.
But what about those that are already there?
Those that are already there, fine, we are sympathetic, and we should talk about sharing. I'm not disputing that we shouldn't, we should. But we must also have a strategy of making cohabitation, to demonize it, if you like, for lack of a better word. Have a culture of demonizing some things. Like we demonize a lot of things that happen in society. We almost stigmatized it. So we must have a strategy of making it not attractive or very dangerous to just
I'm
go.
sorry, Betty. Betty, I told you I'm here not to discuss theory.
But for me, I'm here to discuss it.
Not to discuss ideal. I'm here to discuss the situation on the ground.
Yeah, but it has a background, Miriam. What's the background? What happened?
Excuse me. Don't ask me what happened. I'm not the creator.
You cannot deal with a situation without dealing with the root cause.
Now, I thought I clearly explained. And I said, these religious leaders were there and they are still here. They have not prevented people from cohabiting. They have not promoted the morality and ethical values in this land. Let me finish.
Therefore, we should hold the situation.
But why do you interfere with me when I want to put my point also?
Put the point.
You are on the other side. I have already read your side. I already know where you are. But me, I'm putting my point
that
here.
Is blackmail.
I have already known where you are from the way you are presenting. Now, me, I want to say, right now as we talk, 60% of the couples are cohabiting. Betty is telling me we should in fact demonize it. We should in fact, I told her, I don't like it. I don't like it. I want to tell all religious leaders who are hearing me, I'm very properly married. I tell my children, please don't cohabit. And for now, God has helped me. They have not cohabited. But many, many people are cohabiting. Even in the villages, even everywhere. One of the reasons why they are cohabiting is commercialization of bride price, which is also another controversial thing in that bill. Now, these young people, some of them don't have jobs, unemployed. They want to marry because we tell them don't involve in promiscuity because you will have AIDS. Now, they want to marry. They don't have bride price. What do? They go and get girls and start cohabiting.
Let's flag the issue of bride price. And
start cohabiting. It is one of the controversial issues there in that bill. That's why I was telling Betty that there are 4 controversial issues in that bill. This bill, apart from the 4 controversial issues, other people see it all right. The cohabit, sharing of property, bride price, and marital rape. Those are the things which people are addressing, which are causing problems. And me, I was addressing them one by one. And I'm giving my points about cohabit. And I'm telling the religious leaders that since they have not been able to prevent cohabit, they should allow the government, whose role it is to protect its people, to find a way of recognizing this relationship for the purposes of giving rights to the children and the women who are in that relationship. Because when that recognition is not there, and there is maybe death, or there is separation, the children and the women suffer. Now you are telling me they should behave well, they should stop in this screen, but they are already in it.
I have a proposal here from one of our viewers. He says, Chibazu, let the government organize at an LC level or a lower management level the registrar of